I am now sitting in Wendy's in California. How did I end up here? Let me take you back to the beginning of the day. Hi. Good morning from gloomy Miami. Today I have a chance to share with you how a non-rev traveler itinerary looks like flying with American Airlines. So the previous flight actually has been delayed for 2 hours. So I look at the priority list on this website. It looks like I have a decent shot of getting a first class. This video is not sponsored, but I usually use this Flighty app on the top, and it'll show you where the flight is at currently. And typically, if it's a non-rev flight, we show up pretty much when everyone else is checked in to see if there's any additional standby tickets available or seats available. And then the front desk will then allot you a seat. And a few days later, after you have taken this flight, they'll then charge you for that. So that's why it's called non-rev. Okay, we've arrived to the airport, and now the only thing we need is to get our ticket. So let's go ahead and head over there. And here we've arrived to the gate 321, and the first thing I do is I go up and check with the front desk to see if there's any boarding pass ready. Hello. Yeah, I'm flying non-rev.
The ID?
1250. Looks like we got it. 3C. That's gonna officially be my first class flight on American flying non-rev. It's really rare, but here we are.
Hi, welcome.
Made it.
Look at the map.
This is 4th of July travel. It feels good to be back to the motherland. We have now arrived back to the homeland, Los Angeles. And I want to give a quick review of the business class meal. It was a 5.5 hour flight from Miami, but overall I think it was a very pleasant experience. So I decided to get the chicken enchilada. And before that, they gave me a really nice servings of the dry nuts and soft drinks. Came with 2 salads and also came with a few options of appetizer. I decided to opt into the lava cake along with milk, but it didn't feel that long. You know, since this flight was delayed pretty severely, actually out of the 16 seats in the business class, only 7 of them were filled. So first take the business class to LA, and now we have to suffer through another 3.5 hours before we can get home. I'm gonna take you on this white ride and check out this new LAX metro station. I think this is it. The shuttle pole over here takes you to several stops, and one of them being the metro rail and local buses, which will eventually take me to Norwalk. So a lot of people waiting, as you can see.
Spot in Hollywood called the Griffith Observatory. Since you're not driving, there's a bus that will go directly there.
First impression. Look how packed this is. People are actually using it now. Taking the C line to Norwalk, transit, business class in the morning, bus life in the afternoon, 3 hours to get home. It's gonna be an adventure. 20 plus years. Finally, some public transit. C line, so pretty frequent, and I love that there's a big blue bus because that takes me back to my Culver City, back to my Mar Vista place, which, you know, I'm gonna try to spend more time in LA in the next coming year, especially with World Cup. So let's go. See if it works. Apple Pay? Nope. Gotta go buy card. $5.50. Alright.
Outfit.
Thank you. Man, LA, we gotta step it up, man. We gotta use some Apple Pay. That's taking way too long. Overall, I think pretty modern. Maybe it's a weekday, so it's not that many people. This tap card, $2 for the card, and then $1.75 per ride. So for me, I'm gonna take 2 rides because I'm gonna be using the bus later. I think it's reasonable price. What do you guys think? Lots of Metro police. Check this out. This is the the train that I'll be taking to transfer. Let's take a look at this board. I've never seen such clean board in LA that's not scraped up by homeless people. Check that out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be taking the C line all the way to Harbor Freeway and then take the bus all the way to over here, El Monte. Gonna be a journey. But nothing beats the LA weather. Beautiful afternoon in the city of angels. First time. Off we go. Check out the top over there. They have some security camera. Very, very smart idea.
Crenshaw on the other side of the boarding platform. This is a Metro C-Line train. Approval from the system.
Gracias por viajar en Metro.
Metro J-Line. Dodger Stadium Express.
Alright, now we're walking out. Looking for the J line. Transfer. You know, after living in Florida for a minute, I finally can use that, like an outsider's perspective and really compare the LA Hispanics and the Miami Hispanics. You know, here they have a very unique Chicano culture. I think it's really cool, which, you know, while I wait for the next J line, I'm gonna go ahead and explain a little bit the differences. Before that, let's go find the silver line right there. I see it. This is the harbor station that goes through South LA. Let's see how to get there. South LA, baby. First time taking the silver line. Going northbound to El Monte. It already smells like piss, of course. All right, let's see. J-line. I used to always watch these videos of people visiting LA and they talk about the Chicano culture or the LA Latinos. And I can start seeing the difference here because in Miami, it's pretty plain and simple. People come from all parts of Latin America. They go ahead and speak Spanish as their primary language. And typically, you know, everyone in their household, like their upbringing, they speak Spanish. So even after a while, they still retain the accent pretty heavily. In LA here, what's interesting is even people coming here first generation, mostly Mexicans, Guatemalans, they try to, you know, learn English and the day-to-day is still like primarily English. But I think it's quite interesting to see like how they portray the art, how they reflect on their own culture. It's just like a completely different view than how I'm used to in Miami. Takes me to the right station. So check this out. Without the bus, it's going to take over an hour to get to the metro station. An hour and 14. So I hope the metro line is going to expedite this process because.
You got me on your camera, bro?
Oh no, I don't think so. I can delete it. I'm doing a vlog.
You on your camera, bro?
No, I didn't. Notice is just the change of demographics. You know, the more east we go, Southside LA predominantly more African American, and then now we're just passing by Chinatown, and the riders are getting gradually more Hispanic and Asian focused. So it's an interesting change. This entire trip I take 3 different metro or forms of transportation, including the first one, which is the Metro C line, leaving the LAX airport, getting to the Harbor Highway Transfer J line, which is a metro bus, the one I'm currently on right now. This one's going to take me for the longest distance, heading to El Monte transit station. I'm going to take this connecting bus called the Silver Streak. It's pretty cool. Gonna take me back to my mom's neighborhood, so excited to show everyone what that looks like. Just got off the J line. Now we're looking for the Silver Streak, the connected one. So Pomona 190. Let's see. I think think that's the one right there. It's a nice day out here. Up in the front. That is the one right there. It is 4:50 p.m. since I've landed around, well, getting out of the bus at 3:30. It's been a little bit over an hour and a half, so not too bad. Let's go. Is it enough? Yeah, okay, thank you. Alright, that was the longest ride of today. And you know, it's crazy. I was sitting in the bus and just thinking, man, that was like a whole hour and probably an hour and 10 minutes sitting in traffic, and people are just taking naps, minding their own business. Like, what do they do? You know, you ever wonder the same thing? But we just got to Cal Poly Pomona. This is one of the California State Universities, pretty close to the neighborhood I grew up in. And I want to actually walk around a little bit just to see, you know, what's here and report back to you. So in California, you barely see people walk, especially in Southern California, because the homeless people are just everywhere. Tent up, not aggressive, but you know, you try to avoid them. We're coming to an end to today's long journey home. I walked past Cal Poly, check out the community, Pomona / Phillips Ranch, and look, it's a pretty typical day in LA. Cloudless, nice weather in the mid to high 70s. Just like reflecting back to today's journey. Yes, you know, it took a little bit, probably took me a total of like 2.5 hours just to get home. I do live pretty far from the airport. But in comparison to the outrageous Uber price of $270 to get home, I think I made the right move. Especially, as you saw earlier, the metro can just cut through traffic. And you know, this very last leg, I could have taken the bus again, 2-3 stops, but it's also a very nice walk, getting some steps in. Yeah, now I'm excited to see my family. I'm looking forward to the infrastructure being built around World Cup. Next year, they're going to be connecting more lines. And in the end, to close this out, I hope you'll have a great few days ahead of you. Be safe out there, and I'll see you guys next time.